Give to Barrett. Cut back over the middle of the 25 to the 20. Breaks a tackle to the 15. Stops, starts 10-5. Touchdown Lions. Holy mackerel.
Throws, end zone. It is caught. What a play back there in the back of the end zone by T.J. Hawkinson.
You're listening to the One Pridecast. Welcome into another episode of the One Pridecast. Team reporter Danny Rogers here, and we've got a great show because Emily Zugay, who comically recreated the Detroit Lions logo on TikTok, joins me to talk her story. Plus, DetroitLions.com writer Mike O'Hara gives us his BetMGM pick and talks those Chicago Bears. All of that coming up on the One Pridecast. The Lions are introducing flexibility and convenience in paying off your season tickets. Never miss a home game and pay for your tickets in monthly, interest-free payments with our monthly payment plan. Call 313-262-2222 or visit DetroitLions.com to secure your seat today for as low as $43 a month. We are so excited to welcome a very special guest to the One Pridecast, and I feel like the best way to describe Emily Zugay, and if you've ever heard of her, you probably heard her from TikTok or from the Detroit Lions' own social media page. She's known for her deadpan sense of humor and stoic delivery. Emily, is that the best way to describe your TikToks?
Yeah, I would say so.
Over 1.4 million followers on the app. Emily, when did you first dive into the entire world of TikTok?
So, honestly, I downloaded TikTok in the beginning of quarantine last year. I told myself I wasn't going to download it in college because I could not get distracted. After I graduated, I was like, then I'll get into it. Then I'll see what all the hype is about. So I downloaded it, didn't do much with it all of last year, never uploaded anything like worthwhile. And then at the beginning of this year, I started to kind of play around with it because I had success with one random video I put out.
Which one was it?
And so it was this challenge. And I stitched this video. It said, tell me you were born before the year 2000 without actually telling me you were born before the year 2000. So I stitched it with a video of me blowing into a Nintendo 64 cartridge and then putting it in, turning it on, and showing,
Oh my
like
God,
I feel
I
like
saw
anyone who
that.
played that.
Okay, I'm putting two and two together. And that is a Nintendo 64 is a beautiful thing. And you don't know about it if you're born after 2000. There's just no way.
Right. And I feel like the secret is just like blowing into the cartridge. Like everybody knows that, you know what I mean?
That's how you fix anything that's old.
Absolutely. So I saw success with that video, and it showed me that, after a couple of years of trying stuff on like YouTube, other platforms, to just kind of make something of myself, I wasn't sure what. It was crazy to see the success that you could have on TikTok overnight. Like that blew my mind. So I kind of started to get into a little bit of Nintendo 64 content, some comedy stuff. It was all over the place. And then one day in April, I put out a video of me lighting a candle with a match and a lighter. So I lit the match with the lighter, and then I lit the candle, and people went crazy over it. So after that, I was like, okay, this might be worth something because you get a reaction out of people. It's good engagement. And so on.
And so, okay, so you lighting a match with a lighter to light a candle. I mean, what was the point of, and how'd you come up with that? And what exactly was the point of it?
So 2 days before or something like that, I made a TikTok, and I didn't talk a lot in them, but in this particular one, I was telling people we need to make a product that's called warm sauce, not hot sauce. I want warm sauce because marketing that just sounds hilarious. And then people in my comments were like, girl, have you ever heard of like mild? And I was like, well, I feel so stupid. I just want to delete this. And my fiance was like, no, it was funny. Like, you should just play up this character and pretend to be this, for lack of better terms, dumb blonde, because it gets great engagement and like, why not? So I kind of continued with it. And then we had a lot of success with the candle video. And from then on, it kind of just developed into this deadpan character. I didn't even know what deadpan really was before I started, and people started to comment it, and I was like, what do you mean deadpan?
So what is the best way you describe that now that you have come to terms with that's your character?
Yes, I think just a little unaware, a little arrogant, a little stupid. I just try to be that person that everybody, like in a social situation, would know, like, you know, exchanging, you know, like exchanging looks towards each other and being like, this person is not it. This person is kind of crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be that person.
Okay, so you got to take us back. So did you just recently graduated then because you waited to download TikTok until the beginning of the pandemic. So where were you going to school? And you're a Michigander now, but where are you from originally too?
So I'm from like southeast Wisconsin. I went to school at the University of Wisconsin Stout, up closer towards like Minnesota. And then I graduated, in 2019.
What did you major in? Yeah, because we'll get to we're having you on because you decided to redesign some very famous logos that I'm sure a lot of people took time to brand and create, and you redesigned the Detroit ones, and it's so hilarious. So what is your background, and what did you study?
Thank you. So I actually did go to school for design. I actually do have a bachelor's in design. Technically, it was called entertainment design, my program, and my concentration was in animation. But I'd spent my whole life drawing, and I was kind of known as like the artsy kid in high school. So I'd always known that I wanted to go into something creative. And animation is just such a beautiful thing to me. I've always been so fascinated by it. So that's why I kind of chose to pursue that.
So what is your day-to-day job?
Yeah, so it was a little unfortunate. I graduated right as the pandemic began, and I'm like, I can't go out and get jobs because people are getting laid off left and right, you know.
Yep.
And already an animation job is pretty prestigious, and it's very competitive. So I kind of had to stop and think about, okay, like what do I need to do next? What are my next steps? And when I graduated, I had like $100 in my bank account. Like, I had no money.
I feel that.
It was rough because there's things you want to do, and you're like, I'm finally out of college. Like, I just want to start my life.
Yep.
So I started drawing pet portraits, and I just advertised on Instagram to my friends and family. I was like, if you want one, it's $30 or however much I charged. And eventually I was able to kind of grow that, and that's now my full-time job from home. Thanks to TikTok, especially, a lot of exposure there. But
oh my gosh. Okay. So, I mean, how much is TikTok now a part of your daily job?
It's taking over very quickly. It's taking over. Even if I wanted to hire, extra help or people, even like the last week that all of this blew up, I don't even think I'd have time to really do that to get to where I want to be and to close in on the deals that I'm, closing in on with people and the people I'm working with. But luckily, my fiance, he's an independent game developer. He works on like board games and stuff like that. He's very well versed with contracts, with legal stuff like that. So he's been such a big help. And we're a little team, but it is like kind of a 2-person job right now, just the TikTok part of it. So
that's amazing. Okay, we need to get to your weekend spent at the Detroit Lions game. A real heartbreaker for you to witness in person. I'm glad that wasn't on your TV screen. But we got you out here because you, I guess the best way to say it, went into a new endeavor on TikTok by very sarcastically redesigning some of the most famous logos in the entire world. And we reached out and asked if you could redesign the Detroit Lions logo. So please take us through the process that turned into Detroit Lions logo that we will now be selling in our merchandise shop here soon.
Yes. So like I'd been throughout the last couple of months, kind of talking to the Detroit Lions a little bit on TikTok, and you guys are just so funny.
This is Neil. Shout out to Neil.
Yeah, Neil, shout out to you. You're the GOAT. So my fiance was like, well, you have to do the Detroit Lions because they've been so like funny and awesome on TikTok. And so I was like, okay, definitely add them to the list. And yeah, the first pass of the logo was like just a bad version of a lion, like a really disgusting version of a lion. And I was like, it's funny, but it needs something more. So he was there with me. We were kind of brainstorming like what is a plan, like words we can kind of go off of, or how can we twist this in a really unexpected and weird way. And we kind of came up with the Detroit Lions. So then I was like, should I just make lines? And he was like, yeah. So I just took my tool in Adobe Illustrator and I just drew some lines and unintentionally spelled Detroit wrong, left it. I was like, that's fine. And
okay, so that was unintentional.
I see. The funny thing is I'm quick on the keyboard, I'd like to say. Mm-hmm. But with that comes lots of spelling errors, lots of letters being flip-flopped, and it's been fantastic for what we're going for. So I leave it all the time, my spelling errors.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So you go into a whole brainstorming session when you recreate these logos.
Yes, sometimes I can just sit down in Adobe Illustrator and like I try and look at all of the things that are working and that make the logo great. All of the beautiful little aspects of the design that work, and then I just try to turn it on its head and make it as bad as it can be, basically, while hopefully making it somewhat believable to, even maybe one person out there.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, this shirt, Detroit Lions, with literally brown lines on the shirt, will be sold here soon for fans to purchase them. Everyone go buy a shirt from Emily. So how was your experience at Ford Field? Was that your first experience for a game day?
Yeah, the only other NFL event I'd been to was a preseason game at Soldier Field a couple years ago. So going to like a full-on NFL game was so cool for me. I kept on telling Asa, who's my fiance, I was like, this is like the top 3 coolest things I've ever done. Like, it's just so cool to walk around, see the players, and just like be a part of it. Like, I don't know, there's something about sports in general, I think, going to like live sporting events that's so fun. So then just to tie it into like everything that was going on and like the hospitality from the Lions, and you guys are just so nice. It was just like one of the best days.
We love that. Can you tell us maybe what's next, what you might have cooking so we can tell the people?
I definitely have another logo video coming.
How long do those take to make?
So, the first couple of ones that I did where I wasn't making any money and I was just doing it for fun. I mean, I still do it for fun now, of course, but I wouldn't really know the companies I'd want to do until like an hour before or 2 hours before. Mm-hmm. I'd sit down, take just like a few minutes on each logo, make sure it was as bad as could be. And then if I script myself too much, I just get in my head about it. So I just kind of like to start recording and then rattle off the top of my head like what are my thoughts right now on this. And so yeah, that's kind of the process.
Because we know you're sarcastic in these videos, but it's still a very authentic you in them. Do you think that's what's really like speaking to the people of why they kind of buy into it so quickly?
I hope so. I mean, it's hard because I wish I could understand, and I wish I could. I think every artist agrees you wish you could look at your work from a different person's perspective, just to get like a fresh, a fresh view on it. So yeah, I'm honored that, you said that. So thank you. I hope, people see that and people can kind of like connect with that or like enjoy that.
Mm-hmm. Do you get noticed when you go out in public?
So the town I live in right now is like relatively small, but during an event during the summer, I was noticed a few times or met a few people, and that was pretty cool. It's still bizarre because when people come up to you, you don't know them, but they know stuff about you. So like,
yes.
That's just a very new concept to me.
What do your family and friends think?
My family has been so supportive. My parents have always told me, like, whatever you want to do, we support it. And they've just been fantastic. My friends also are just the best. But I think the funniest part is when I see people or talk to people from high school or just my hometown in general, my parents' friends who see it, they're like, Emily is so different in her TikToks than how she actually is in real life. So that's just so funny to me. I don't know. I had one of my friends be like, it's just so weird. Like I'm looking at two different people.
Yeah, so something really cool was as soon as Neil, our behind the scenes TikTok producer, guru, everything, got a wind of your logo for Detroit Lions, he put them on a shirt and presented them to some players who opened the box. Their reaction, some of them were a little confused, but they bought in. What was your reaction when you saw these Detroit Lions players holding up your logo and wearing it on them?
That was insane. Again, because it's so easy to get caught up in the everyday life of, like, when you're doing TikTok from home, you don't see the repercussions in the real world, or you don't see people's reactions really. So to see not only the players reacting to the design, but have it on a physical shirt, that was just like one of the best things I think I've ever seen. It was fantastic. I couldn't, like, I showed my whole family. I was like, oh my God, look.
Is Detroit your team, or is Green Bay, or is Chicago?
So my parents are originally from Chicago suburbs. So I'm at heart, I'm a Bears fan. Grew up a Bears fan.
Who
yes,
who you
definitely
rooting
no
for this
Packers.
weekend? Now that you
For
just went to
Bear-
Detroit.
Oh, I know. I don't know. Like, it would be rude of me to say the Bears at this
It would be
point.
super rude. I don't recommend it.
And you guys gave me a jersey, so go Lions.
The Lions, yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. Anything I miss, Emily, about your life and your rise to stardom very quickly on TikTok?
Thank you. I don't know. I feel like we kind of covered all the bases.
We need to do a follow-up here in a few months and really, like, check in.
I would love that. Yeah.
Amazing. I'm glad we've converted you to a Lions fan now.
Once we get that design on the jerseys, then we can talk.
Oh, she is a big swinger, and I appreciate that. Yes, everyone. Emily Zugay, go follow her on TikTok. She's got over 1.4 million followers. And join in. We're Team Emily Zugay. So, thank you so much for taking the time, and we cannot wait to have you back in Detroit.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Create a fun, unique, and unforgettable outing for a group of 10 or more at the next Lions home game. Visit DetroitLions.com/groups to purchase or contact us directly at 313-262-2222 to save on ticket prices, get priority locations, and receive a group giveaway item. To close out the One Pridecast for this week, none other than DetroitLions.com writer Mike O'Hara is joining me. Mike, I don't want to look back, but I haven't talked to you yet since that Baltimore Ravens
Danny, you're in angst.
loss. I know, I am. But we got to talk how this Detroit team, what growth you saw in that Baltimore Ravens game and what they can take out of that and bring with them to Chicago or leave with them in Detroit.
Well, what I saw, the good things, of course, were I thought the pass rush came along. Just the overall defense, the overall tenacity, I think is a good word. They made some moves there, made some changes at linebacker. And look, we're talking about one game. This is, we're not going to Canton right now after this one, but I thought it paid off. And I think probably in those first two games, the coaching staff saw some things. I'm just talking defensively right now that they didn't like, thought they could be better. And then I think when they put into the changes they made, with the two new linebackers essentially starting or alternating, whatever they did, they saw some things that they liked going forward. So I consider that a win. I liked the way the offense came back. I didn't like the way it was, the way it was stagnant for 30 minutes. But with the money on the line, on the table, they came and they had 3 straight drives, long ones, 75 yards, 68 or 69 yards, with it's either that or lose. And they came through with 17 points, took the lead with a minute and change to go. And then, of course, the heartbreaker at the end. And don't ask me if I've seen it before, because I have.
I was gonna
I'll
say.
tell you what,
You've been around the block, so.
Yeah. I'll tell you a quick story when we get done with this. But I thought, what I really liked was, it's 1st and 10 at the 18-yard line when it's starting out for the Ravens, and they get a sack on 1st down. And you're talking about this is like the 8th sack of a 9-sack barrage of a 30-0 game. This is with the game on the line. They get a sack, they get a play on whatever it was on 2nd down, and they get another sack on 3rd down. That to me is, look, there are statistics and there are plays, and these were plays, big-time plays. Now, one of those big-time plays was by Lamar Jackson on the 2nd sack on 3rd down, with a defensive lineman hanging on him, dragged him out of bounds to stop the clock. Great play. Now, nobody's going to say, look, the quarterback getting sacked, he made a great play. He did.
Right.
He was able to stop the clock. So there was just a lot of good things on both teams, and then, of course, the field goal at the end, 66 yards. I have not seen that before. You know why?
Because it didn't happen.
Correct.
It's never happened. I'm just, I'm a little shocked you have not mentioned anything about a no call and delay of game, no call false start. Your thoughts?
I don't know about the false starts and all that, but the delay of game, yeah, it should have been called. And I wrote something in my what we learned column that there's one way to prevent that, isn't it? Do what the NBA does and what hockey does: rig the clock to a buzzer and the lights of some kind, put them on the goalposts, and when the clock runs out, the lights go on, and there's no question about it.
At that point in crunch time, like, why not?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Right, do it just in the last 2 minutes, something like that. But yeah, it's, and I think the National Football League has enough money. They've already paid for the goalposts. I think they're not on rental, are they?
Well, you don't know. They could just be leasing them.
Yeah, right. Hey guys, sorry, your payment didn't come in. We're taking them away at halftime.
Right. Yeah.
So that, but I thought the quarterback Jared Goff played well in those last 3 possessions. He really did. Some of the things you can quibble about, calling timeout. So what? It's not. There's not like anything's going on during a timeout.
Right.
So I don't care about that. Rushing 3, it's not what I would do, but I understand it too. It's not like nobody does it. I think it's probably 50-50 split on what you do there. But all in all, I thought it was a step forward for the Detroit Lions, but a crushing loss. Absolute crushing loss.
Crushing. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Okay. Their eyes are on the Chicago Bears, who had a worse weekend. I don't think that's subjective. I think that's very objective. They did not play well against the Browns, who pummeled them. Pummeled. However, a bright spot for Chicago was they still managed to sack Baker Mayfield 5 times, even though Justin Fields was sacked even more than that. I mean, the Chicago Bears defense, you still can't overlook them.
No, you can't, and that's when you look at the guys they have, and it really is. It's a tough front 7, and we almost forget about Roquan Smith, the linebacker. Well, don't. Keep your eyes on Roquan Smith, who was
Noted.
Teammates of DeAndre Swift at Georgia, I believe. I think DeAndre's rookie year, freshman year, sophomore year, maybe. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, terrific sideline.
Well, I hope he takes it easy on DeAndre then.
I hope DeAndre doesn't take it easy on him.
Ooh, yeah.
And then we'll
I
see.
like that.
But it's really a tough unit. Robert Quinn. They've got 11 sacks, which I think they're either third or they're the top 3 in the league. I don't know, they might be tied with somebody there. And we for years and years and decades, we've called them the monsters of the Midway, and I think the monsters are out. They're out and they're prowling and they're they may not be the 85 Bears, but what they've got is pretty good, and they've got Robert Quinn, who still is one of the best pass rushers in the league. I think he's 10 or 11 year, whatever it is.
Yep.
Just a terrific player. Khalil Mack. I don't know if he's exactly what they thought they were getting when they made the trade with the Raiders, but if he isn't, it's sort of if he's not an A player, he's an A minus. And then
I think they'll take that.
Yeah, and I'll take that. And then Akeem Smith, just as Frank Ragnow, Akeem Smith. I don't know if he plays on the nose all the time, but he's an interior defensive lineman. He's massive, and he's massive who can move. He really can. But Frank Ragnow can handle anybody. I really think he's the Detroit Lions' best player. I think he's an all-pro for years to come center, and I think he'll handle that. He handles the physical part of the game and the mental part of the game. So that's an important asset to have on your team. And I think overall, I think the Detroit Lions offensive line has done pretty well.
Yeah.
Not perfect, you know.
All things considered.
All things considered, you know, they lost probably their second best lineman, and Taylor Decker hasn't played yet. He's probably not playing this week. But I think the guys have, you know, Matt Nelson at right tackle and Penny Sewell at left tackle. I think they've done well. They really do. Now last week, a couple of false starts. You know, can't have it. You
Right.
know. 1st and 10 is hard enough. 1st and 15, come on.
Right. I mean, yeah, Penei Sewell, rookie, going up against the Midway Monsters.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll be able to handle it?
I think he will. I think one thing about him, I think he's a young professional. He plays like a guy who's been there before.
He sure
and
does.
That's good. I don't think he's going to get intimidated or overwhelmed by any of the moments. And first of all, he spent his career on the West and in Oregon. What does he care about? You know, Chicago and the monsters of the Midway. It's not snowing.
What
it's
are
not
those?
raining. Although
Yes.
I hear it might rain there.
I
There's
heard so
some-
too.
Yeah.
Both away games. Green Bay, it was pouring.
Yeah.
Chicago, like, come on.
Are you on the
Leatherheads.
sideline then?
Oh, I'll hide in the press box if it's raining.
But you start out on the sideline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I get to take in some of the scenery. It's very important. The scenery.
Don't sneak off to the Field Museum. Stay on your job.
I know. It's it's all very distracting to me.
Yeah.
I've got to stay focused. But so, I mean, we got to talk about Chicago quarterbacks. Who's starting?
Which one? Who is it?
Who is it? Because I've heard different things from everyone. I've heard Nick Foles is getting the start.
I think he's been ruled out. I don't think ruled out. I just think sort of the conversation you hear is.
I know, but I think that is Matt Nagy's. I think it's a ploy.
It could be. You know, look, the answer.
Why? If the other two quarterbacks they've been needed to be checked out for their health. Nick
Yeah.
Foles is fine.
Right, Andy Dalton had look. When you miss a game, a quarterback misses a game with a knee injury, as he did last week.
Yes.
He's hurt.
Correct.
Those guys, they play through a lot. I'm not saying other
Yep.
players don't, but quarterbacks, it's
We're
the
used
way
to
it
Matthew
is.
Stafford playing through broken collarbones, right?
Is that all?
Was it? Yeah. Was
Well,
it
no,
clavicle?
it was a broken back.
Oh yeah. Easy.
And there was a broken finger, and it was, it's everything.
They're tough.
Yeah, warrior strong.
Yep.
One of my all-time favorite athletes, period.
Right. Yeah.
But Andy Dalton, look, he's been a tough guy. You know, he got in the playoffs 5 times with the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, he's made a couple of Pro Bowls, but he's not that now. But you're not. I don't think you're going to rattle him. I think he's seen everything, and some of the controversies going through now. He's been there 3 games, and they're talking about getting rid of him on sports talk and all that. And I think at a certain age, point in your career, you learn that just play.
Right.
Let them do the talking,
Yep.
I'll do the walking.
Yep.
And I think if Andy Dalton plays, regardless, I think he'll play his game, whatever it is, whatever level he can play, and he won't get upset by the outside stuff. Now look, they've got massive problems on the offensive line.
Yep.
Got a good running back in David Montgomery, 1,000-yard rusher last year, and they got a really, really good receiver in Allen Robinson, who
Yep.
people don't remember. He's a local guy here in Metro
Sure
Detroit.
is.
I think it was Orchard Lake St. Mary Prep.
I think you're right. Yep.
Yeah, grew up born in Detroit. Thank one of our local guys doing well. You know, he had 98 catches 2 years ago in 2019, and I think he had 102 or 103 last year. So he's a proven commodity. That unfortunately, it goes to show you when you're not getting good quarterbacking, that proven commodity has 10 catches for 80 some yards.
Yikes.
That's a game for him.
Yeah.
That's not 3 games.
Right.
You know, so if you're the Detroit Lions, whoever plays quarterback, don't let him go off and all of a sudden have his career game. Don't let David Montgomery all of a sudden get 22 carries for 140 yards. Don't let Allen Robinson get 9 catches for 130 or something like that. Make them play the way they've been playing, and you can win. You're going to win.
Right.
At least I think you're going to win.
Correct. Yeah.
I like
so
the
who's-
line. We'll get to my pick later on behalf of MGM and all that. But let me pre-warn you people out there and start laughing now. I like the Detroit Lions in this game.
I think Bears fans like Detroit in this game.
Well, they hate the Bears right
They
now.
hate the Bears right now.
But just wait until the first call goes against them. They'll be booing the officials.
I
and
know.
all that.
I know. Just being from
Fickle.
the Midwest,
It's
I
called
appreciate.
fickle love.
Yes, I think. I mean,
best kind.
You call the Bears fans fickle, not me. Let's get this straight. Okay, so who do you think will be starting quarterback? Put your money where your mouth is. Who's going to
Put
be?
my money where my mouth is.
Or is it is that opposite? Put your mouth where your money is?
Put your money where your mouth is.
So I said it right.
Yeah, oh, you did.
Okay,
yeah.
great. Thank you.
I was amazed.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Must have learned that from my dad.
I think we're going to see Andy Dalton. I really do.
Okay.
Look, the Bears are 1-2. They lost to the Rams in the opener, which they should.
That was fine.
You know,
That's
they
okay.
come back and they beat the Bengals, and we find out now it's a better win than we thought. They're 3-1, won last night. And then last week it beat 20-6 with 9 sacks.
Yeah.
Just a little stat here: 9 sacks. They get 68 yards passing and 67 yards of sacks.
Correct.
So their net passing for the game is 1 yard.
One. You know the last time they had this
Why
bad of an
bother
offensive
to
game?
show up for that?
The last time they had this bad of an offensive game, guess who it was against?
It's against the Detroit Lions, and they had 3 yards. Yeah.
Yes. Fun fact.
Yeah.
So I like those odds right now.
Yeah, I covered that game.
Oh. Was that 42? Okay. All right, let's get to your pick, Mike O'Hara. For
I'm going on
BetMGM.
strike after that comment.
Oh, do it. See
you
what I care.
right? Get to my pick. I've seen some good things with the Detroit Lions, but I don't think you can play a half of offense. I think you've got to play 3/4 of offense.
At least.
At
And then
least 40
work
45
themselves
good
up to
minutes.
4.
In other words, and I think this: if you can get a lead on the Chicago Bears, make them play a game they don't want to play, whatever that is. If they want to run the ball, make them throw it. If they want to throw it, make them run it. You know,
Yep.
whatever it is, whatever you think works best for you. But you can't get out there. You can't get down 16-0 or something like that, or 13-0 like you did last week, and think you're going to come back and beat it. It just doesn't work that way.
Right.
It really doesn't. So this is the first game where you can say really without a doubt the Detroit Lions have a clear advantage at quarterback with Jared Goff over whoever they play. I don't care if it's Foles. I don't care if it's the ghost of anybody. It's a clear advantage. And I like the way the Detroit Lions have played in not just spurts but good periods of time. Really do a good half at a time.
Yep.
I think they're going to up the ante, and I like the Detroit Lions 23-13. That's 10 points.
Oh, it's still close.
The betting line is 2.5 to 3.
Really?
For people who follow that, and I occasionally look at it.
Interesting.
Just because I'm on this show with you, I have to.
Right.
I have to brief myself on what's going on.
I know you're the only person who can actually make this pick
I am.
for us. Yeah, you're very important to us.
So if I don't show up, what happens? I'm all of a sudden not important.
Correct. And then one of us gets in trouble.
Well, Danny, who do you think's going to win?
There's no doubt in my mind that Detroit's going to get it done.
Okay.
Yeah, there really is.
I just wanted to get one question. And it's
thank
been a
you.
month.
Please ask me questions. I love answering them.
It's been a month, and I finally got to ask a question.
I know. Yeah, I'm picking Detroit.
Good. I think so. Why?
I think.
See if you match up with what I think.
I was just about to say, because of the woes of Chicago. However, I think Detroit is just getting that much better every week that it doesn't matter what the other side of the ball is doing. They're going in and taking care of business, and as long as DeAndre Swift can get started early, TJ Hawkinson can keep making himself available as a target, and this defense keeps stepping up and setting the edge and building the wall, I think they're just cooking up some really good things right now.
You know what? I don't think you need me anymore. I think
Just leave, Mike.
I think I've talked my way out of a job. I've done it before.
That's what happens when you watch football all day. Yeah.
You
all
got
right.
it.
Anything else, Mike? Can we miss anything?
We probably did. We'll get it next week.
We won't. We'll leave it. Hopefully, we're talking about a dub this time next
Be
week.
nice. It really would.
That'd be great.
The team needs one. They really do.
We
Young
need
guys,
one.
old guys, medium guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them. Extra
And our
large
fans
guys.
too.
I know. Do it for
The
Detroit.
entire city of Detroit needs one.
Let's do it.
In fact, anybody who's even just flown over Michigan in an airplane needs one.
I know. Everyone gets a dub. You get a dub. You get a dub. All right. Okay. That's closing out the One Pridecast. Thanks to Mike O'Hara for coming on. This was a really fun show, guys. A new episode drops every Friday. I'm Danny Rogers. We'll see you next week.